Hey guys, Colby here. Welcome back to another raid video. Brand new portal glow. We now have purple as part of the glows. We have the red glow, purple glow, yellow glow, blue glow. I guess this is not purple. This is violet. It's like a light purple because we have the purple for voids. But yeah, this is a brand new thing, guys, that they've added today. The summoning pool. It's going to be random champions from what I'm guessing in the future. And it's going to go for like 4 or 5 days. This one's going for the next 4 days. And it does have some very solid champions in there. And it's not tied into affinities or anything. I think you just saw the champions most used for many different parts of the game. And they thought, all right, we might as well just put those in the summoning pool. This is an amazing summoning pool, honestly. Even for myself, where for the majority of these champions, I've got a high star awakening already. Except for Newt. Newt would be the only one I would love to get, but the odds of getting Newt out of all of these, if I bought these, all right, would be so low that it's not worth it. But just have a look at the champions in here. Stagnite is also from the epics, a very strong one to have. Frank the Fat, the Man-Eater is there to help you, and then of course Allure and Seer to just skyrocket your teams. Geomancer also. The Mytha for your clan boss team. We have Cryodan, even Toragi here, and then all the good rares, like literally all the good rares, like Cold Heart, Renegade, Apothecary. So I think this is just a sign of Flyrium saying, guys, we need money. So we're gonna give you this. This is whale only territory. So jewel offers, you go buy them and you'll get a soul for one of the champions that you would love to get. A soul for. So if you saw the rates for this, it's very different than what we're used to, because the rates for the rares are higher than the epics and legendaries to get a 5 or 6 star. Because I was wondering why I got a 6 star when I pulled that one free that we all get. I got a 6 star for Renegade. I was surprised by that. But then once I saw the rates, it was like, okay, it's higher rates for the rares to get the 6 star. For everything else, like epics and legendaries, it's pretty much the same. Like a very small difference here for the 3 star on legendaries for it to be higher. But yeah, there is still that 6 star 10% chance here for the legendary, which is pretty nice. What I do want to say, guys, for this is not a limited time event. Do not go out of your way to spend. You don't have to. I won't be spending. I know the deal with Plarium. They'll always be doing these kinds of events, and I think this does not tie in with the 8x that we have here with the wish list. So I'm not gonna bother spending on these. I've never bought the prism crystals as well. So this is just another thing like that, but with a different kind of feel to it, different kind of design to it. I do think though that if they ever add mythicals in it, it would make it a little bit more interesting. Like a specific mythical summoning pool. That would be nice, because I do have one mythical which I do not have a soul for, which is very interesting. Have all the other mythicals basically a soul waiting. I just don't have the champions. So yeah, it's very interesting. In terms of other news, guys, we're gonna have summoning events tomorrow and the day after that. The day after that is very interesting because it's gonna be Shu Zhen up for grabs. So for people going for the Hydra and Hydra damages, you know, you gotta look out for that. But for everybody else, if I check on the news that they give us, it's Hefrak, Krokmar, Elder Scar, and Cardiel Turvold from the Void legendaries. And then the day after that, so Wednesday, it's Morrigan, Lysandra, Elva, and Nekmo, and then Shuzhen and Togron as legendaries for Wednesday. So it's very interesting in terms of the champions that we have, but I guess they could have done something better. Next up on the news, guys, that I wanted to share is this. The fusion is basically ending, okay? The fusion itself will begin on May 9th. So we do have a long time until then. We have 1 week, 2 weeks, and 2 days until the start of the new fusion. So as I said in my previous video, just save up your resources, guys, because you'll need it to get this guy. This guy will have, by the looks of it, a 55% chance for this A1. Look at that. Okay. Each hit has a 40% chance to place a provoke debuff for 1 turn. If the target is a boss, the chance increases to 80%. So I had some comments in a previous video of mine where I did mention that this guy would be provoking the Head of Decay with this one. And the Head of Decay, by the way, randomly attacks a target with the lowest health. Well, not randomly, but attacks the target with the lowest health regardless of the provoke. So with that in mind, you can just build him as being the lowest health ally from your team if you want to do that and guarantee the provoke basically be hitting this guy, because the passive also will be affecting on how things are going to look. His A2 looks to be very interesting as well. It's going to be a chance to place a decreased attack debuff, also increasing the duration of ally buffs. That is amazing. And then increasing the value of shields on your ally. So that could be very cool for specific teams. And then we have the places 2 intercept stacks on a target ally. So intercept is going to come into play, where intercept will be blocking 1 attempt on a crowd control effect, which could make things interesting for arena. This guy will be a very solid support. So the passive will be the one voted on right now for the next couple of days. And the passive itself is what I thought would be the best for it to have this one, where at the start of each round, you're going to place a counterattack buff on this champion for 1 turn. This buff cannot be removed. That's great. And then at the end of this champion's turn, place a counterattack buff on them for 1 turn. I don't think, though, that this counterattack buff cannot be removed. I think it can be removed. So out of these 3 skills, I do think that this one is still the best. It's going to be defensive focused champion. It doesn't make sense for him to have this one with counterattacking, fully healing him. And the support focus is all right, but I again don't think it's going to matter so much in terms of the damage that you'll be doing, because you'll need some kind of poisoner to add into this card. But I can totally see this being contested, these 2 being contested, and then using this champion as part of a team for the Hydra. But I still think that everybody is going to be voting defense, and that's what I'll be voting for today. And let's see what the vote is so far. 67%. Kind of makes sense for it to be heavily focused there, since the other 2 doesn't make sense with the rest of the kit so far. So that's gonna be how it goes. Again, in terms of the fusion, May 9th, I think because of the Easter holidays, that's why they delayed it so far. Because Easter holidays for Ukrainians, I think is the same as us here in Cyprus and Greece. So probably they don't want to start a big fusion like this one when they're out of office. So they might just be putting things on autopilot for a week or 2. And then when they come back, it's going to be the new fusion and basically summer celebrations and stuff for Plarium as we're used to with that. And finally, guys, some news that I didn't cover on the day. They were out, but I did want to make some comments on. So first one is the bosses rebalance. Every now and again, there will be conversation somewhere in chat about boss rebalance. And now we want to officially announce that we indeed want to be fine-tuning some of the more challenging bosses in the game, particular Iron Twins, Phantom Shogun, and the big bad Sand Devil himself. While we leave the exact details a secret, the main direction is to make them more approachable on all stages, even on the higher ones. So while already effective teams won't be affected, there will be more wiggle room to do some more experimenting and mid-game farming. So the idea with this is that I'm gonna look at it with the bad eyes first. The way that I'll be critical about it. They want more people to spend energy on farming the Ascensions, which is a big place where the big whales spend energy. They want the mid-game players to feel, oh, I can now farm it, and start spending some energy there, which would be a mistake. As a content creator, I will say that mid-game accounts shouldn't be farming Phantom Shogun and Sand Devil. They should be farming more gear. That is how you improve the account. Iron Twins, kind of the same thing. If they don't improve the rewards for the Iron Twins, it's not worth going to the lower levels, because if you guys forget something about the Iron Twins, let me remind you. If you go and click on Iron Twins, if you cannot farm anything above stage 10, then you cannot get Immortal Soul Essences. That even though I farm 15, the essences that I get are sometimes 0 every single day, which has made me to actually stop refreshing using my 150 gems on weekdays. Only on Sundays I do the double refresh. Not double refresh, but the refresh for this one. So how would I see them changing this in the future? These 3 dungeons, which are the most difficult, the way that I see it is these dungeons requiring less accuracy and resistance to do something on it, and then also the Sand Devil not one-shotting you, so you don't require to have some champions such as Duchess to do specific builds, or some unkillable champions to do specific builds. So if they reduce his damage from the big AoE damaging hit, then you could probably run like ally protection teams and a geomancer and still kind of do the same thing, and it's not going to affect your team that is farming 25 by that. Same thing with Phantom Shogun. They're probably going to do something along the lines of how much damage the boss does when he hits you, but the enfeeble kind of tactic that he does is still going to be the one that you'll have to worry about. So yeah, the teams we have already are going to work. Same thing goes for Iron Twins, probably going to reduce the accuracy and resistance requirements and damage dealt with the number of stacks you have, because the longer you're fighting Iron Twins, the less likely you are to survive, because those stacks that he applies on you equal to more damage dealt to you. So teams that are able to survive but don't have the damage would eventually wipe out. But if they now go back in and they manage to survive longer and they just chip away on the boss's health through brimstone or something, and they'll eventually take out the boss. So that is how I imagine this will be like as a part of the fixes. And then we had some Cursed City rotations. I call it Cursed City. It's Cursed City. So we saw much discussion regarding the Cursed City rotation, so we decided to bring some clarity. Technically, Cursed City has 5 fixed rotations. Each stage has 5 filter sets. Each rotation will use one of the 5 filters. The Cursed City will circulate them one after another. Once all 5 filters are used, the game will randomize all available filters and start the next rotation set. This doesn't make sense. This last bullet point doesn't make sense. What do you mean randomize? The way that they've wrote this down is kind of wrong, at least in my eyes, in my understanding. It should have been like after the 5 rotations are through, the rotation that follows will be in random order, not randomize the filters. Not randomize the filters of each stage, because then that would make it so that each rotation would have random teams, random stages. So no rotation would be the same. That's how I understand the final bullet point, which is very confusing. Anyway, I get their point though. It's just 5 rotations that they're gonna be rotating through. It's not gonna be in the same order, I'm guessing. For the curious ones, yes, we made sure that the 5th and 6th rotations won't repeat each other's filters. Once the filters start repeating, you will start seeing your team from the previous rotation that used this particular filter. All right, yeah, no news basically on this Cursed City thing. What I wanted to see is some adjustments to the Cursed City. The Cursed City is by far the most challenging content in the game right now in terms of RNG. And that is the truth for it. On my account, I don't even bother so much sometimes because of time restraints, but I do want to say that some of the stages here, just especially this one, S20, for example, the amount of champions you have available to beat this is very little. And just having rare or magic, rare, epic, magic champions specifically doesn't make this any better. You just have to run stun sets, get lucky, and then get lucky again, and then get lucky again with the stuns. And that is how you beat it. And very unfortunately, not a lot of people beat it, even on the top clans, okay? So it's not a matter of having the champions, it's also a matter of how much work you put in repeating it after one after the other, right? And I kind of don't like this as being part of content we have in the game, because fishing for RNG shouldn't be this. So Cursed City still needs an adjustment. It's still the most challenging content, but that shouldn't be the challenge. It should be something like Amius, where Amius is a challenge. It's a boss. You need a strategy. You need the heal prohibition buff on debuff on him, and then you also need to somehow manage to survive when he switches forms. Don't have the buffs at specific times. Don't have the debuffs at other times. So it does make sense. There is strategy with him, and with many of the other bosses as well. But some stages is just pure RNG, which they should eliminate. Even with a great whole investment like I have with maxed out ignore defense and almost speed and working on crit damage as well, it still makes the stages very difficult because you're fighting enemies that are level 350 and you're level 60. Okay, so definitely something that they need to work on for the longevity of the game, because lots of all of this stuff, this is a lot of time spent every single day, a lot of time spent to do all of these things, which is not nice for everybody. So this is the roundup of everything, all the news, guys. I wanted to cover with my own, I guess, flow of thoughts. If you did like this video, thank you all for watching and subscribing to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.